This is a historic turning point. I cannot overstress it. Here we have, for the first time in a century, a serious economic competitor to the United States and its role in the world. We've never seen this before in the lifetimes you, me, and the people watching this program and listening to it. Here are a group of countries that together have a larger GDP, a greater production than the G7, the United States and its allies. We haven't had that before, and the gap between them is growing. The economic growth of the United States this year by the IMF is scheduled to be 2.8%. In China, 4.8%. In India, 7%. So they are growing faster than we are. They've been doing it for decades. It is a new economic world. And as an economist and an American, I am aghast that our presidential election isn't putting that front and forward. This is a new world. Everybody else in the world is adjusting to this reality. The American empire and our system is in a decline relative to what the BRICS are about. Are there problems among them? For sure. Do they have their faults? Absolutely. This is not good and bad, but it is a radical alteration. And if we continue as a nation to pretend it isn't happening or it isn't important, we will continue to make big strategic mistakes, not the least of which is to bring us into a war kind of situation that people are already sensing might be in the air.
Welcome back to Crash and Eddie. People, unbelievable. The love, that's all I can say. Because this is a take two. I did a full recording and had some tech difficulties. Limsey wasn't here to help me out. And we did not record. So, working out good. But, as fate would have it, look at this timing. Because Bitcoin is just a hair under 71,000. So, we are moving into price discovery here, guys. So, that is interesting. That's when you have movement. And isn't the timing... Gosh, man, it's funny how stuff works. 71,000 right now. So we'll see what happens. There is so much going on in the space. But I could not go any bit forward until we did something on BRICS because it's really important. So we're going to talk about BRICS a little bit. And we're going to talk about our upcoming giveaway. We did have one last week, and it was a little bit of a debacle. But we got it done, and we had to do some tweaks and switch some stuff around. So we're having another one coming up in less than 2 days. So... And this one is for 700 XRP, or 700 flare. You wish. No, it's going to be flare still, people. But, what's flare doing right now? Let's see if it's above 1.4 centavos. No, 1393. Nice. But it'll be coming. Price is a distraction right now with all these, so don't forget that. When we're giving away 500, I'm not thinking it's worth 500 at the current prices, you know. I'm thinking it's worth more, $500. But we'll see. Time will tell, right? Time will tell. In the meantime, though, let's talk about BRICS. I want you guys to know this because it's a big deal. This is the transfer that we've been talking about. it's the big transition. So BRICS stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. This is their official portal. Infobrics.org, I believe it is. I'll put a link down below. I'll have some links for BRICS. And Democracy Now!, I think, was that video. I'll put a link to that full video too. He pretty much sums it up, right? You know, at a high level. So I'm going to break it down a little bit more for you. There was a big summit last week in Russia for the BRICS. And these nations and many more, these are just the heads of it, are these 4 big ones. Because they encompass really like 40-50% of the population in the world, 40-50% of the resources in the world, 40-50% of the gold in the world. So that's why they joined together, to get off the dollar. And not that I'm a believer that the dollar is going to, collapse and, go down to zero. I don't believe that. But we're going to level the playing field, and that is going to be painful to people that are not positioned properly. So there are some global currencies that hedge against this. If you think about it, you got to do your own research and make your own decisions. This is not financial advice, entertainment and educational purposes only, but take a look at what we talk about all the time, because these help you get through these times. There's a lot of different things you can do to hedge your position, protect your family, build wealth. This is just one strategy that we implore. And I just wanted to share. We couldn't do this without going over BRICS once. So this is our one and only BRICS video. Limsey isn't here. She gives her kindest regards. She could not make the show, but I'm sure she'll be on soon. And we'll have some other crashes as we move along. So, all right. So BRICS, this is their portal site. The BRICS portal. You can look around here. But I found some stuff on Reuters, which is a pretty reputable news source. I trust them more than a lot of them, especially with financial stuff. So, and this is really just an interesting one to show you how it's not just a payment system. Everyone in crypto thinks, oh yeah, BRICS, it's a new payment system. They're coming up with a new token and a new payment system. It's a lot more than that. These guys are organized. They've been doing this for the better part of a decade because it's a big deal to get off the dollar. The world is so entrenched in the dollar. And we reap the benefits of that in America. I know we have some global listeners. I'm in America. So, yeah, we reap the benefits, and there's also some downside to this too, but it is what it is, and the system's got to change. And so here's just some interesting specific takeaways. This is from October 24th, which is last week. Okay, on Ukraine. We emphasize that all states should act consistently with the purposes and principles of the UN Charter. So think about that. The UN Charter, United Nations. So they're making sure that they kind of tip their hat to certain global powers so as to not create too many issues as this transition goes through. So just keep that in front of mind as we listen to this. In their entirety and interrelation, we note with appreciation relevant proposals of mediation and good offices. aimed at a peaceful resolution of the conflict through dialogue and diplomacy. That's on Ukraine. On the Middle East, we reiterate our grave concern at the deterioration of the situation and humanitarian crisis in the occupied Palestinian territory, in particular, the unprecedented escalation of violence in the Gaza Strip and in West Bank as a result of the Israeli military offensive, which led to mass killing and injury of civilians, forced displacement, and widespread destruction of civilian infrastructure. We express alarm over the situation in southern Lebanon. We condemn the loss of civilian lives and immense damage to civilian infrastructure resulting from the attacks of Israel in residential areas in Lebanon, and call for the immediate cessation of military acts. So, again, wanting to make sure that they have a problem with this war and want peace, basically. On Western sanctions, we are deeply concerned about the disruptive, effect of unlawful unilateral coercive measures, including illegal sanctions on the world economy, international trade, and the achievement of sustainable development goals. So let that simmer for a second. We're deeply concerned about the disruptive effect of unlawful unilateral coercive measures, including illegal sanctions on the world economy. Think about this. This is them basically saying, we ain't putting up with the sanctions. We got a problem with them. This is our workaround, in part. On the international financial systems reform, we underscore the need to reform the current international financial architecture to meet the global financial challenges, including global economic governance, to make the international financial architecture more inclusive and just. So this is the new financial system. Any way you look at it, this is what's going on. So it's much more than a payment network. It's multiple exchanges. It's multiple assets. It's multiple blockchains. So let's go on here. On BRICS grain exchange, we welcome the initiative of the Russian side. So Russia's putting together a grain commodity trading platform. So no longer are the U.S. powers that be going to have authority over all commodities, all assets, most assets, as far as pricing of the assets go, as far as custody of the assets go, as far as regulation of the assets. They're putting things in place now where the games that the U.S. plays with these commodities and with these assets to manipulate things in our favor, in our billionaire favor, it's done. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, but there are going to be mispricings coming up, as far as I can tell, with different assets. I mean, who's to say gold is the price that we dictate and we manipulate? Same with crypto. Who's really determining these prices? Who's manipulating them? Because they are being manipulated through algorithms and through other things. Our banks have been fined many, many times for manipulating prices of commodities, of gold, of silver. So think about it. It's much more than a payment system. We welcome the initiative of the Russian side to establish a grain commodities trading platform within the BRICS grain exchange, and to subsequently develop it, including expanding it to other agricultural sectors. So it's going to be other assets. It's going to be, so they're covering all the commodities on the globe. And they're going to have, it's not going to make the SIBO or, our exchanges, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, which is most of our commodities, it's not going to make them obsolete, but it's going to change the game. It's going to level the playing field. That's what this is about. On BRICS cross-border payment system, we recognize the widespread benefits of faster, low-cost, more efficient, transparent, safe, and inclusive cross-border payment instruments, built upon the principle of minimizing trade barriers and non-discriminatory access. Public chains that cannot be, or private chains might be, that cannot be sanctioned. That's what it's coming down to. We welcome the use of local currencies in financial transactions between BRICS countries and their trading partners. So, BRICS and non-BRICS countries. So, in other words, the U.S., even though it's not a BRICS nation, we can participate through BRICS nations. And eventually, this whole thing, it's not really like behind the U.S.'s back and everything. It's all out in the open. We know about it. We know it's coming. And I put it to you, we want it in some ways, because you can't really be in our position forever. It doesn't work. That is the what is it, the Triffin dilemma? We'll get into that another time, but you guys probably all know what it is. On BRICS Clear Depository. Listen to this. We agree to discuss and study the feasibility of establishment of an independent cross-border settlement and depository infrastructure. BRICS Clear, an initiative to complement the existing financial market infrastructure, as well as BRICS independent reinsurance capacity, including BRICS reinsurance company with participation on a voluntary basis. So BRICS is going to sponsor basically a settlement system. That's what this is. It's no longer going to be just these few U.S. or, just the Western and Western allies like SBI. Japan has massive financial stuff that is all linked in with us. It's all tied to us, and now they're saying, we're going to have this as well, leveling the playing field. On the IMF, we reaffirm our commitment to maintain a strong and effective global financial safety net with a quota-based and adequately resourced IMF at its center. So, and the IMF is in large part the U.S. We control the IMF. We fund the IMF to a large degree. Supposedly it's independent, but it's again, it's all right in front of us and we know all about it, and this is going through. So this is why you have to manage around this. It's a huge thing that is going through now. It's not being devised now. It's being put into use now. So it's going to take years, but it's happening. It's in the process right now of happening. So on G20, we recognize the importance of the continued productive functioning of the G20 based on consensus with a focus on result-oriented outcomes. So pay homage to the G20. You know, we're not trying to diss you guys. We're not trying to disrespect the G20. They're part of the G20 for the most part. And they're not trying to disrespect any of that. Then they have this thing about the big cats, you know. While appreciating the efforts of our country to preserve rare species and noting the high vulnerability of big cats, this is about India and their big cat alliance. So it's interesting. It's so much more, and there's other things too that it's almost a separate government, you know. And countries are going to have, the bottom line is countries are going to have their own currencies now that are functioning currencies. They're going to be able to get away from the debt riddlement that, for instance, the IMF puts these companies through, or these countries through, and shows them that, you know, you're controlled by us, basically. We'll help you out. Here's a bunch of infrastructure, but now we own you. So, this is really an interesting time, and I just want you guys to know that, you know, it's much more than a payment system. This is an organization of organizations. It's like the network that the U.S. has set up globally, you know. There's going to be many of these, and they're all going to be married by networks and basically blockchains, where it's immutable and transparent in a lot of regards. And you know, you're gonna see it all play out before your eyes, but we know about it as a government. This isn't being done behind the U.S.'s back. There's just nothing we can do to stop it. We can slow things down, and that's what we've done, so there's not a mass exodus from the dollar. That's what we've done with crypto. You know, that's what this is all about in large part. Bitcoin's okay because it's not really scalable. It's just a simple asset that actually plays into what they want, which is an asset that you can load data up on. You can now have derivatives of it. This BlackRock stuff, I mean, it's exactly what they want with Bitcoin. It's perfect. And I'm sure they're going to put a bunch of other ones on there, you know, so that they can play games with an asset that really is a pure asset that you really, it's not debt-based, you know, it's asset-based, it's equity-based. So just keep your head on a swivel with this stuff. They want you looking at everything but this, you know. But you can see what's going on, and it makes sense why they're doing it. You know, we have to go through this to get onto a new system. So that is what we're going to do. And, you know, we'll talk more about this as needed, but for the most part, you just need to know this is part of the new system being rolled out, and it's happening right now. You know, it's nothing to be fearful about, but you better be dialed in. You better know the people that have an advantage are the people that know how these new systems work, not the people that are just not paying attention to it and putting your money under a mattress. So all right, I just wanted to get that out there. Do not forget to hit the like and subscribe on your way out, people. All right, people, so hopefully you guys got a little something out of that. learned a little bit something different about the BRICS. It's a lot more in a payment system. So yeah, we'll have some other stuff coming out really soon. Don't forget, in 2 days we got another giveaway, so go in, get involved, just hit the enter button, and you will be set to possibly win a little crypto for doing nothing but hitting a button. So, not financial advice. Hit the like and subscribe. And we will talk to you real soon. Man, a lot of green now, huh? All of a sudden, everything's green. 'Cause of Bitcoin. Interesting. Bitcoin just under 71,000, so. Alright, we will talk to you soon, guys. Stay well, and have a good rest of the week. This is Eddie for Crash and Eddie. We're out.